Hi, I'm Nadia Dunn. Welcome to CCL TV. We're here in Dubai at the WMX EMEA event, and joining me is Matthew. Thank you so much, Matthew, for being here.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Now, Matthew, you're from ZigZag. Tell us a bit about the company and your role there.
Sure. ZigZag is a software platform that allows retailers to manage their returns globally, and we do that by creating a easy-to-use customer experience that people can log in and interact with what they've bought from a retailer, with a highly configurable backend system that allows retailers to tailor their return strategy to suit their business model. But we also combine that with access to carrier networks around the world, reverse logistics carrier networks, and a series of warehousing as well. So by hooking into the ZigZag ecosystem, retailers can serve markets where they're perhaps only just entering, they're not very strong, and they can take advantage of our presence there.
And there was an announcement yesterday within the industry. Tell us about that. We were just talking about it.
Yes, I think we've seen several where certain retailers are saying that in certain circumstances they're going to start charging for returns, which is interesting. And we were talking earlier about how returns and e-commerce boomed during the pandemic, and just when we thought we all knew what we were doing, we're now seeing squeezes on cost of living for consumers and how retailers are going to react with that. Free returns are still really, really important to the customer base. They're a great enabler for sales and conversion, but I think in some cases, for some customers, in some countries, for some products, there may be an element of changes in return strategies from retailers, with charges being introduced, or a fair returns policy, which is the general badge that the industry uses or retailers are starting to use, about what can be returned for how long and when.
So how is the consumer going to be affected by this?
I think the consumer will see retailers focusing forensically on the post-purchase experience generally. So they will only benefit, but what we will see in that whole ecosystem will be better post-purchase communication, tracking and delivery. We will see maybe more virtual try-on technology, augmented reality, fit and finish. We will still see returns being made very easy to access the appropriate shipping labels, but then we might also see exchanges, the ability to exchange a product rather than return it, come to the fore. So saving the sale, and also different ways of customers getting refunds. So maybe refunds to a branded gift card, which keeps the money within the retailer, saving the sale, but still actually provides the customer with a good returns experience.
And like you said, a fair returns policy.
Yeah.
Full circle, really.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. Now, what does coming to an event like this mean to ZigZag?
Well, firstly, you get to obviously get different perspectives and just see where some of the things that you're seeing happening, the changes that are happening, ring true elsewhere. And certainly we can see that, we've looked back over the pandemic, but now there's starting to be an emergence of, well, actually there's different times ahead, there's different challenges, and what can we do to succeed in those? How can we keep customers happy, keep them shopping, but also meet the cost challenges that are applied across to both retail and the logistics industry themselves?
So what does the future look like then?
I think data-driven, right? So returns in particular spins off a huge amount of data, which is beneficial to retailers when they can see what products are coming back way before they arrive back in their warehouse. It also allows them to forecast demand better, right? And remember, space and people are at a premium, and we talked about that again this morning. So knowing how much volume you've got coming back and gearing up your workforce to deal with it is very, very important as well. But also the ability for consumers still to have a good experience, but maybe just redress the balance a little bit more towards the retailer as well, who have got some big like-for-likes to deal with.
Yeah. And how are we going to keep up with this data? Obviously, information technology, digitization, that kind of all comes into it. How are you going to keep ahead of the game?
Well, one of the key things we're looking at this year, particularly investment, is we have the data, but what we need to do is surface it in more ways to more stakeholders to allow them to make insightful decisions on it really quickly. So we're scaling up our data team, and particularly the presentation of that data to both our clients and internally, but also to our carrier partners as well. So we're as much a source of data of the performance of carrier partners as they've got themselves. So we see it benefiting all our stakeholders. And
from a sustainability perspective, what are ZigZag doing to reduce their carbon footprint?
Well, as a business, we're a software business, so we don't own trucks, we don't own warehouses, but what we can be is a real enabler for retailers to promote the most sustainable options to their customers. Research shows that labelless is a very, very popular choice now, post-pandemic, but also certain returns methods like out of home, where you get a consolidation benefit, are more sustainable as well. So a platform like ours can allow retailers to promote the most sustainable options to their customer for them to choose first and foremost.
And obviously customers are now very, sustainability focused. Are you seeing that yourselves in terms of customers and clients?
Yes, we're seeing more demand. I think at the moment people are seeking the data to then make the decisions about what they need to do next. At a very basic level, people are seeking data of, well, I've shipped all these items into this country. Do I have to ship them all back again to my DC? Can I ship a jumper that I've sold in February back in May when it's not going to be needed? Or what else can I do with it? So I think they're on a journey. The logistics side and sustainability options are being promoted, but now it's going to be, well, actually, what can I do to stop all those logistics miles and get a better realisation for my returns product, or actually in the country into which I've delivered it.
And what are your short, mid and long-term goals? You spoke a bit about the future. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so personally I look after the team which takes the ZigZag platform for resale to its customer base. So we deal with carriers, posts and warehousing providers. We're adding more all the time as they've kind of got to a point where they need a return solution. They're doing tenders in the marketplace, and returns are now part of almost every sort of retailer's tender. But buy and build, we've got so much experience baked into our platform now that it kind of just makes it easier to partner with us and then offer our services to the market branded as the retailer. So short to medium term, we're adding more and more of those partners. The longer term one is about harnessing that data for the value of all of our stakeholders.
And what are your thoughts about CCL TV being here at the event?
Oh, I'm delighted to get the chance to speak to you. I know that our founder and CEO, Al, is a regular, but I'm after stealing his crown, right?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're most
Maybe we'll
welcome.
get Al a bit later. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.